Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another podcast from Overbite Gaming. I am the Majestic Snare. You're used to me. And with me today is a new guest once again to keep the trend going. It's Lee. Hello, Lee.
Hello, you. I'm Guru Larry.
Are you really?
No, I'm Lee.
Sorry, I had to have a quick vape there. Well done for christening.
Yep.
I'm on the watermelon vape today, so it's quite nice.
See, he's an hour and a half late to proceedings. I am due a christening.
Well, you are due a christening, but I'm doing my thing to keep you healthy by stopping you drinking.
It just means I drink later. That's all.
So, I suppose I could kick off with a bit of a short story.
Oh, I am sitting comfortably. You may begin.
So, in the UK, over the last week or so, we've had some shitty storms, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've had this week off, which has been lovely. Been doing fuck all. It's been quite nice for the most part. I did test drive a car on Monday, so that's a new.
Ooh, what car?
Mazda 3.
Ooh.
It's the new one of the car I currently have. But yeah, so I had to take my car in for a service. So I went downstairs on Monday to find my roof aerial, which is on a big fucking 7-foot pole. But no more. It's not on a 7-foot pole anymore because it snapped in the storm and smashed into my car the day I was taking it in for a service. So yeah, fucking storms, mate. Fucking shit.
Yeah. Yes, I went on a train journey and got very wet on the Sunday.
Oh, did you? Where'd you go?
To the Solent Hotel sort of bolt-on pub, the Parsons Collar, to see my girlfriend's family.
Fair enough. You needed to take a train for that.
Well, it's in Whiteley. Neither of us drive.
Oh, yeah. Okay, fair enough. I suppose it makes sense if you want to drink too.
That was the best bit.
Right, enough of the niceties and make everyone feel nice and comfortable. Let's talk some shit about games, shall we?
Yes, would you like me to start, sir, seeing as I was the one that did the research?
Well, you've done some research. I can chip in.
A little bit. Okay, first of all, let's do one that's Snare-centric. It's no use to Snare, but I know he'll be interested. Epic Games, the 3-game for this week, Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Yeah, I already played it. It's fine.
Yeah, I know you have. I thought you might like to elaborate on the game itself, seeing as you've already played it.
Well, I suppose I could, if you will indulge me now that you're the... I don't want to take away from your big Ubisoft fan club speech, though. Because you love them now.
I don't love them. I just think they're doing slightly
really
better.
good games, yeah. So Assassin's Creed Syndicate was unfortunately a really underrated Assassin's Creed game in my book because it came out, I think it was the next one after Unity. So everyone was kind of pissed off, but it had already been in progress and completed by the time it came out. So it's based in London, kind of industrial revolution-y kind of time, or maybe Victorian times is a better way to put it. In that kind of gritty Whitechapel. It was just an interesting take on London, historical London. But you also play as two characters, so you can either play as Evie or I can't remember the guy's name. Damn it, Jacob, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's Jacob Ferrer or something like that, isn't it?
But they're basically twins, and it was a nice twist to actually have two antagonists, which you're playing the same kind of thing, but they have the different skills. I mean, Jacob's more of a brawler, and Evie's more of a stealthy kind of assassin type, really.
I think I and most of the public took that as Ubisoft's response when they said it was too hard to do a female in what was it, the previous one, the Assassin's Creed French,
the Unity.
Unity, that was it.
Well, I think that was just to distract from the fact that Unity was a pile of shit and should never have been released. It was awful, but the Syndicate version, I found it was a really good looking game for obviously the year it came out. In Assassin's Creed style, I mean, they always spend a lot of time on their scenery and their environments, and it was dialed back a little bit from Unity and the number of sprites on screen, if you like. And I generally really enjoyed it as a story. It still had the same Assassin's Creed feel to it. But it was just basically one of those Assassin's Creed games as of old now, because it's now no longer the way Assassin's Creed games are made. But definitely it was still in that vein, and I really enjoyed it. So it's highly recommended if you're a fan of Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, Revolution, and even Unity, to be fair, if you enjoyed those. Black Flag as well.
Wasn't there Revelations as well?
Yeah, I said that.
Did
I
you?
said Revolutions, yeah, Revelations, sorry.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a whole separate one.
But no, and let's not forget Assassin's Creed 3. That was okay, but it's that same style. It's the old school before they became Odyssey and the most recent ones.
Well, Assassin's Creed 3 was when boat combat was introduced, wasn't it?
Yeah, and which they tried to put into Odyssey as well, I think, didn't they?
Well, they did like Assassin's Creed Rogue, Odyssey was like
Rogue was
had
good.
that.
Yeah.
And of course Black Flag as well.
Yeah.
The pirate one. I know everybody. I mean, I was always like, just fucking make a pirate game. Stop with all this Assassins nonsense. And then they made a Greek 'em up for me, and I was like, okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, no, they've done well to keep it fresh, since changing it over, and people have received that quite well. I'm pretty sure it's the game that launched Ranton's career, to be honest, because I remember seeing that at the time when he did his review, and literally was getting hundreds of thousands of views. I was like, oh, hello, doing well.
It's a very inappropriate German man. Hello.
He is inappropriate, yeah, definitely. He hasn't made any videos recently. I hope he's okay.
Yes, he has.
Has he?
Yeah, he released one the other day.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet. It's been quite a few weeks without one.
Yeah, he's not. I don't know whether it's because my stream. It's my what's it called? A log or whatever it is. I don't know. The queue that comes out for my subscriptions isn't pushing it, or whether or not he's sort of dialed back on his production sort of schedule.
Yeah, well, he had to take a break recently, so best wishes to him anyway. Let's not dig into it, but yeah, best wishes. Hope he's all right, and keep up these stupid content because you're doing well.
I just had a red one ad pop up out of nowhere, and it wouldn't go away when I told it to go away. Bastard.
Oh, I've got something else to discuss, actually.
Is it about your rash?
No, it's about GeForce Now.
Oh, is it cyberpunk related, perhaps?
Nope, but you can add that bit on because I've read that piece of news as well. No, two of my friends have decided to get it. The Founders Pack, so £5 a month for 6-hour stints of usage at a time. And I think you get preferential kind of queuing to get back into another session. So using GeForce Now, not using your own hardware, they both got really... and they'll forgive me for saying this, but utter shite laptops. I mean, we're talking stuff that we play Warframe together, and they couldn't really play some of the areas and some of the missions because it was just too intensive for their CPUs and GPUs to actually cope with. So a couple of my friends have decided to take the plunge into GeForce Now. And my God, the improvements are insane. It obviously can function with their laptop, and they don't have, I wouldn't say they're crap laptops, but they're definitely out of date laptops. And the performance is the same as I get with my beast of a rig, which isn't actually that much of a beast anymore, but it's mine's perfectly capable of running everything in Warframe. Theirs weren't. Playing together, absolutely no performance lag whatsoever, brilliant performance. And I think for anybody that's got an out-of-date laptop, doesn't want to upgrade, it's definitely an option.
Oh, that's good news. I mean, especially as they've obviously got to send the data to the processing center and get it back and onto their screen, and then you've got to receive it from the Warframe servers as well. So it's good to see that it's performing well under those circumstances.
Mate, it's undeniably a good option for somebody that hasn't got the funds to purchase a whole new rig, a whole new laptop. It's just a great option. Now, one thing I will say is certainly for games that require elements of sign-in, I know Warframe has a 2-factor authentication that needs to be there, and I believe, I don't know if this is individual reasons or user error or something, but they have to sign that in each time, which is a bit of a pain in the arse. However, obviously you're getting a 6-hour stint, and how often do you really play for 6 hours non-stop?
A lot.
Yeah, but for people that do play that long, you've probably got a decent rig to do so, right?
Well, yes, this is true.
So for people, that aren't investing all of their fucking money into PC gaming, then yeah, it's definitely an option. And I would recommend people look into getting GeForce Now if it's something that could be up their street. We're not sponsored. We're not getting anything for saying it's a good option. But all I am saying to you is that I've seen with my own beady little eyes that it is working for some people who before there was no chance of playing together. I mean, we couldn't even load into a mission together without it crashing and kicking us out of squads because their PCs were that bad. And now it's like no problem at all. Absolutely none.
I wonder if it comes with a way of measuring like the metrics of it, like what your frame rate is and stuff
Oh,
like that.
their frame rates are off the charts, mate.
So they can actually measure it.
In Warframe, you can actually have a FPS counter and ping and everything else.
I was thinking more like with like Afterburner or something like that. Something that you would usually use to sort of see what your CPU, GPU is doing and your overall FPS. But I'm not sure it would work if you're streaming it. The game where it's running on their end will probably be able to handle it, but I'm not sure about a third-party thing like that.
Yeah, they were getting sort of 200, 300 FPS on their side. But obviously it does depend on what you're doing at the time as well. But mine rarely goes above 60, but I don't need it to. And it's not capped. It's just that I guess that's happening on my machine. But
unless you've got a monitor that is capable of displaying above 60 anyway, it's kind of wasted power.
Well, exactly. So, yeah, no, seriously, for guys out there that are thinking about it, give it some thought, mate, because it's worth considering. Stadia, just no, it's definitely not a thing. That's going to die in a few months, I think. Google will pull the plug.
Don't give it some thought. Give it a go. The premium account's free, isn't it? Like the 1 hour one.
That's completely free, yeah, but it's an hour at a time, and you have to queue back up to get back in.
Yeah, but if you just want to see how it performs and whether you'd be satisfied with it, I think that's an ideal thing to do, and it's free, unlike certain other services.
Absolutely. It's definitely worth a look. It's definitely worth a go. And you'll probably be like, I think that the £5 a month is a founders pack thing where I think you get it free for 3 months and then it's charged after that. But I don't know if that price goes up or if it's £5 until death or whatever. I don't know what it is. Look up the terms and conditions when you sign up. But
I imagine there's a clause in there where they can put it up if they want to.
Well, of course, you'd be silly not to. But yeah, check it out. That's my news. And your thing about there's a Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be available day one.
That is indeed what I was going to say. Thank you for taking my announcement from me.
That's all right. Anytime.
Yeah, that's good though, because that is likely to need a bit of a tasty machine to get going. So, I mean, okay, you're going to be limited to 1080p, but there's nothing wrong with 1080p.
No, absolutely not.
Except if you're an elitist like some people.
And who would they be, Lee?
Well, me.
Exactly. So that was my news anyway about GeForce. I'm very happy to see something that's come out that's good for the consumer. Definitely a decent price range, and it's not affecting your existing libraries. So you're not having to pay again or buy the game as a duplicate, buy the service, etc., etc. All you're paying for is the access to your own games. With a boost of hardware,
Yeah. I think when that one company does actually achieve sort of a Netflix type service where you just pay flat subscription and you play any of their games on the library and it works, I think they are going to just dominate the market.
Yeah, and rightfully so.
But until that happens, GeForce Now seems like a good thing because, like as you say, you want to play the latest games. The games are expensive. Upgrading's even more expensive. Seems like a good option.
If Stadia had done that, I think people would be much more forgiving. But
yeah, you don't want to have to go on there and like rebuy the games you already own just so you can play it on the bus.
Exactly. Well, maybe you do, but yeah, I see your point. Okay.
Anyway, I had some more news, which would have nicely segued from my previous news because that was dealing with the Epic Game Store. And this is also dealing somewhat with the Epic Games Store, in that I have now purchased all three Quantic Dream games. Well, all three latest Quantic Dream games. So Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, and Metro on Epic. Uh, they're a little bit unoptimized, but running those at 60 is so much better. It just, woof. But here is the news that this is associated with. Quantic Dream have announced they are self-publishing now, so we can expect more of their works to come out on PC as they are released.
That's cool. Yeah, yeah. They can certainly deal with them. The thing is, it's never been something that needs to be on a console, or needs to be locked to a console. Their
No,
games, their games are made for
absolutely not.
PC. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I've tried going back and like playing Until Dawn on PS4, and like the frame rate is fucking atrocious. I can't even play it. I just start playing. I'm like, nope, can't be dealing with this anymore. And I remember really liking that when I first played it. I've just become, my taste is matured.
With the old Rami Malek in it, isn't it?
Yeah, Rami Malek and cheerleader face and
Hayden, not Christensen. What's the fuck? Panettiere. That's it. Or
and Agents of Shield man, Brett Dalton Brett, something like that. Grant in Agents of Shield, I think it was.
oh, was he in that? I can't remember.
Yeah, he was the one that went off with his girlfriend into a cabin and then sort of spent the rest of the game running after her.
Fair enough. Or did he in mine? Because he might have died straight away. Who knows?
No, he didn't. I watched your Twitch stream.
I can't even remember my own Twitch stream, mate. So I don't know how you can. But yeah, I think it's good for Quantic Dream. But one of the things I would be worried about is a bit like a Konami situation. Don't know how much PlayStation had any creative control over what they were doing at Quantic Dream.
Well, Mr. Cage and Mr. was his Fontemier, I think is the other guy. They were the co-CEOs. They've basically said they have their own heads and make their own decisions now. So that does sound like there was some intervention from publishers.
And was that a good thing? Was that a bad thing? We shall see. Let's.
I don't know. It's David Cage. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I mean. Like, maybe it was a good thing that they had their hold on him, because he seems to think he's some kind of agent provocateur, doesn't he? That,
in fairness to the lad, he is getting better. I think Detroit was least schlockiest out of the three. He's sort of really had. Well, I suppose you can include Fahrenheit as well. The four that he's had like directorialship over.
now, I love those games, and I do love the kind of the story and immersiveness it takes you on. You know how I feel about Quantic Dream games, but what I want to make very clear in that is that David Cage needs to understand that his actual execution of the concepts he comes out with needs so much work to be, because he thinks he's on the Mass Effect level of storytelling and immersiveness of a game, right? He thinks he's up there with massive, huge space operas intertwining stories over fucking galaxies, when in fact he's writing a trope-filled, cliched story that is done fairly well in its execution of game mechanics and whatnot, but the actual story itself is quite vanilla, and he needs to kind of work on that bit. And whether that means he goes off the end, it could be interesting to watch either way, to be fair.
Yeah, in fairness, he does sort of like get a pass for me on Detroit because it's got Minka Kelly in it.
Well, the whole concept of that transhumanism, cyborg, robot slash, what makes a person type stuff, I love that shit, and that's right up my alley in terms of sci-fi. And I really enjoyed the game. So many factors about Become Human were right up my street, but the actual end story, or one of the possible story endings, that I experienced was just contrived. It was just a bit straightforward, and I've loved a bit more depth in it, which is difficult when you're doing a video game, but that's what he chooses to do.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, the person that is in most of the marketing story probably had the least impact in the overall storyline.
Yep.
So,
yep. Well, we'll see what happens.
Well, there was just lots in there that didn't make any fucking sense, and the part where you go to the creepy old house, if you could not vape while I'm talking, you will clip. Thank you very much. Vape when you talk instead. It'd be entertaining.
I'll try that.
And the part where they went to the creepy old house with the fat European guy, that felt like it was from an entirely different game. It just came so far out of left field.
Yep, yep. I'll tell you one thing I do miss, and I hope they maybe pick up again. Do you remember in, I think it was it Heavy Rain? They had the DLC that got canned.
Oh, they did release one episode, didn't they?
Yeah, it was, and it was really fun.
It
But
was like the
was looking
doll
forward to
maker or
others.
something.
Yeah, it was like you escaping from the fucking dude, wasn't it?
Well, it was like yeah, you were just basically Madison in a house and trying to escape the house. That was it.
But more stuff like that. Give us some decent DLC on things. Take your time. But yeah,
Well, they definitely do take their time.
I mean, speaking of interesting developers, did you see the news that CD Projekt Red is now the second biggest video game company in Europe?
Yeah, I saw that. Yep, and I don't know what their working practices are. I don't work there, but certainly from the products they release, that's well deserved.
It's well deserved, and they're also worth $8 billion now.
Holy crow! That's incredible. That is basically off the back of The Witcher 3.
Yeah, Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk, which obviously hasn't released yet. But out of just those two games, I mean, I can't actually remember what else they've done.
Well, Witcher 1 and 2.
Well, yeah, apart from Witcher. But those particular games, they only release something every 4 or 5 years, and they're still maintaining a second biggest company. It's quite
Yeah,
impressive.
but when you look at just how good, I mean, The Witcher 3 was. I mean, the other two Witcher games weren't bad, but The Witcher 3 was just such a definitive step up from both of them, and was, I mean, even today it still looks gorgeous. It still plays absolutely amazing. You've got plenty of DLC, and the DLC you do have is either 3 or it's a really significant chunk of gameplay. So it's like you could not ask for more from that game at all. And due to the Witcher series, it shot up in
500.
about,
Yeah.
it went up like 500% in sales. So
I was going to jump in with that, but well done. Yeah, it's obviously shows that when you have a decent IP like The Witcher and people like it enough, it has enough people from the gaming world to, and probably from reading the books, that people wanted to see a live TV series, and that TV series has then come back on and created people to go, oh, I better check that game out. Great work.
Did you see that the writer of The Witcher actually sued them?
Sued who?
CD Projekt Red.
I remember something about that in the past.
Yeah, so what it was is he sold them the rights to do it. They went ahead and did it. It was a huge success, made tons of money. He went, I should have sold it for more. And apparently under Polish law, you can go back and say, I want more money. And he was successful.
Fair play. Well, that's...
Not really. If you make an agreement for a certain amount of money and it just happens to do better than you thought it would, it's like tough.
Well, yeah, but that's not in Poland. In Poland, you can do that, clearly.
Yes, you can.
So he hasn't done anything wrong?
No, it just seemed a bit greedy because he was already quite successful in his own right just from the book sales. So, yeah.
Yeah, but if that's the law of the land, that's the law of the land.
Yeah, well, apartheid was the law of the land in some countries until fairly recently. So, but that's not right either.
So you compare if you just done the fucking, what's it called, Moore's law of the internet, where you just jump, you're going to lose an argument if you start bringing in Nazis and apartheid and shit like that.
I did not touch Nazis.
That's basically Nazism, isn't it? Like, come on, apartheid is segregation of whites and blacks.
Well, I know they didn't like black fellas, but I think they were more focused on the Jewish guys, weren't they?
No, it was all about the homeless, gypsies, Jewish people, blacks, anyone that wasn't Aryan. Anyway, this is not like going into the Second World War history. All I'm saying is you can't compare someone following and using the litigation to get a bit more money out of people to fucking apartheid where people died. That's a bit far, isn't it?
Well, it is an extreme example, but it's just an example of a law that shouldn't exist and we shouldn't agree with.
Yeah, but if there was a similar thing like the whole prima nocta thing, you'd be up for that one.
If I knew what that was, I might be.
It's where the Lord can just take a bride on a wedding night and fuck her like Braveheart. Not Braveheart, but in the film Braveheart.
Yeah, I was going to say Braveheart didn't wasn't a lord, was he?
No, but they invoked Prima Nocta. So anyway, let's go back to gaming. Anyway, right, before we go down a hole we can't climb out of. What
Too
else?
late, we're in there.
What else do we want to talk about today?
Oh, God knows, mate. I had to close my internet browser because it started playing adverts.
Bloody adverts, hey? Bloody adverts. No, well, I obviously I do my little Warframe segment as I always do on our podcasts.
Oh, God, okay. Wake me up when it's done.
So I've racked up now 1,500 hours. So I'll be doing a video on that very soon, just to cover, my milestones. So I did one for 1,000. So I'm going to see how.
Titled "What Is My Life?"
Well, no, my life. Warframe is life. What are you talking about? But also, I'm looking forward to some of the stuff that's coming along in Warframe, just because it's more content of the kind of similar variety. So, with the Railjack stuff, does seem to be underpinning some stuff coming along in the future. There's a new kind of I'd say story mission, but a new frame coming out soon within the next couple of weeks, and that'll be linked into a kind of a story quest, a bit more lore about the Corpus, one of the factions in the game, and there'll be just basically stuff coming along, and it'll be good. And I think TennoCon's not until July, but we'll see. There'll be lots to do, lots to grind for. So I'll do some videos on that in the future as and when things pop out, because I know you guys love the Warframe content, both of you.
Yeah, there's no accounting for taste. That's why they subscribe to us.
Indeed. Yeah.
Okay. Well, apparently you remember the Final Fantasy VII remake? It's been in the build for years and years. Apparently, it could require over 100 gigabytes of free space to install.
No, it won't. It won't, because I won't install it. I can't stand Final Fantasy games now.
Really used to like them.
I think I liked them when I was younger, but I've never been a massive fan, as you know, of general Japanese RPG games. But
yeah, you're not really into them, are you? Whereas
it's just too fantastical. Like a lot of the stuff that you see, it's not just that it's an interesting futuristic story or built in with some decent characters. It's just the basic physics of stuff I just don't get along with very well. So you got guys that are carrying swords 4 times bigger than they are and shit like that. Very, very fucking generalized view of Japanese RPGs, but I just never have got on with Final Fantasy. The games are bloated, long, and they're bloated in the sense that they take so long to play, and for some people that's a good thing, and best of luck to you. But I just find them that they're not engaging for me. The actual basic gameplay of them, they're not engaging to me.
It's not the gameplay, it's the story that you don't agree with, because you quite liked Third Age.
Yeah, but that's how they used to be, isn't it? That's not how they are these days.
Oh no, it's all about active combat systems and stuff.
Yeah, think back to Final Fantasy 15 when we did that review. I fucking hated that game. And I still haven't really understood how I feel about the similarities and differences between that and Warframe, because when I'm in Warframe, I can go fishing, right? But I get something for it, and it feels like part of gaining resources for things. But when I do it in Final Fantasy 15, I was like, what the fuck are we doing this for? We're on this narrative story, and we're doing something. Why are we stopping off and fishing when we should be going somewhere? And I think that's a difference to me. Like, Warframe is a grindy mess at times, but Final Fantasy 15 was just like, this doesn't fit in this game. Like, I don't understand what this is supposed to be. Should I be caring about this or not? Very strange.
Yeah, but it's Final Fantasy VII, arguably one of the most influential games ever. I remember when I got that one Christmas, and I was drinking my mum's vodka neat and playing that on Christmas morning.
Well, that's just a sign for why you shouldn't play. because you've got to drink neat vodka to get through it.
It was a lovely childhood memory. Shut up.
No, fair enough. But I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, you're a dumbass for playing Final Fantasy." No, game horses for courses, mate. If you enjoy that kind of thing, it's there for you. But it's just not for me.
That's fair enough, I suppose. I mean, everybody can't be right, so you have to be the wrong party in this particular instance.
There's no right and wrong in an opinion, or are you getting more like those people that hated our Stadia video?
No, I loved our Stadia video.
That's my point. It was an opinion, not a fact.
Okay, speaking of Stadia, then, how about that for a segue?
Not bad. Not bad.
Apparently, 5 new games have been announced for Google Stadia.
Is it Pac-Man, Space Invaders?
No, it is Panzer Dragoon Remake.
What? Okay.
Serious Sam Collection.
That's about 10 years, 15 years old. Okay.
Spitlings. No idea what that is.
Maybe it's a new one.
It looks like that. Was it Monster Cakes that we did the underbite on? If you remember that, probably not.
No, can't remember.
Okay, fair enough. What else we got? So Spitlings had that. Lost Worlds Beyond the Page.
Lost Worlds, that sounds familiar.
And Stacks on Stacks.
None of these are decent now, are they? I mean,
the last 3 of those are going to be released first on Stadia.
I'm just looking up on my phone and see if I can see the games, but yeah, that's not what I can do on the actual on the podcast, because I can't do 2 things at once. I am a man.
Yeah, well, you just do one thing really badly, right?
I'll ignore that because I'm focusing.
Yeah, you're focusing on your phone. I shall just entertain our public.
Oh, they've got Marvel Avengers coming.
Yeah, that's coming up, isn't it?
Watch Dogs Legion, Marvel Avengers, Cyberpunk, and Division 2.
Yeah, Cyberpunk's not until September now, though, is it?
Yeah. No, it'll be fine. But nobody will be playing that on fucking Stadia, let's be honest. See, something like Cyberpunk, I can imagine somebody playing on Stadia, because it's a single player, you don't have to connect with other people. It doesn't matter that other people aren't going to be online. Or maybe for most of it, it's primarily a single player game. But for anything that involves other people that you need to have connection to, like Division 2, it's just going to fail. Like, people will be pissed off that no one else is playing it.
Yeah, I'm kind of like just done with the whole thing, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's almost non-news. What'd you bring it up for?
Because I found an article on it.
A1 journalism.
Yay. Yeah, well, I'm sure it was from whoever I just stole that from.
Yeah, no, I think we're going through that period of the year at the moment, maybe coming to the end of it, that, there's lots of things brewing, but nobody has anything to announce yet.
Truth.
I mean, you got Sony not turning up at E3 this year. That's going to be an interesting turn of events. People asking the question of whether E3 is actually viable anymore and necessary, because has it moved around to other things? There's lots to be discussed about that.
I'm just looking, actually.
Because I think the host of E3, or one of the hosts that's been tied to it a lot, sent out some mysterious kind of tweets about a week or so ago, saying, what I know now, I wouldn't be part of E3 this year, or something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing really badly, but effectively he was kind of giving the view that something had gone on, or he was aware of something that made him want to distance himself from it so much that he came out and said, I'm distancing myself from it, without saying that. Like, so who knows what's going on, and who knows how it's going to turn out.
Well, I mean, we don't, in terms of the Xbox Series X, we don't have any prices yet, but apparently we'll be launching in the holiday window of this year. There you go.
Well, yeah. I mean, Sony may be hunkering down to get things ready for PS5, which I will be getting, obviously.
Well, it sounds like Sony are waiting for them to announce a price so they can try and undercut it. But apparently, I think it was like announced that it costs like $499 to just make.
Yeah, they always sell them at a loss, though.
Yeah, this is true.
Especially with the millions of people that do the PlayStation Plus and the service access. So yeah, they make the money back from that eventually.
Apparently, though, they are also aiming for a holiday 2020 release, so they will be going head to head.
Yeah, no, I'm intrigued by the next PlayStation because they are good boxes for for gaming that's not a PC. I've always enjoyed the PlayStation offering, but at the end of the day, it's going to probably be the last one. I think. I mean,
I don't know. Do you not think Stadia's kind of set it back?
no, because all it needs is something like GeForce Now to show you how it is done. I mean, let's be honest. If you can do that with a piece of shit laptop, then PlayStation can do the same thing. I mean, they're doing it with the PlayStation Now, but it's not quite the same. But you can obviously access and do the streaming part as it's been proven with Nvidia. So the technology's there. You just got to not be so fucking greedy with it and do this whole Stadia thing.
Yeah, I think the one that looks like it's going to have the best chance of success is the Xbox version.
Yeah, because they've got the cloud thing, isn't it? Xbox Cloud.
Yeah, and they've already got like a subscription service. Just saying, so if they could tie that in, that's what we want. That's what we were just talking about.
Yeah, so it'll end up being some kind of you're buying maybe a pod, that's a thing to access your streaming services. I can see that being something.
Well, they might have like tiered subscriptions or something like that.
I mean, I'm all for it. I don't mind it going that way, but there is something nice about the occasion of a new console coming out. It kind of marks and defines the generation. It gives you kind of the view of what's going to come in the future for gaming and the potential it has. Some of it gets realised, some of it doesn't. But I like having these kind of like, oh, it's the PS5 and they marketed the actual numbers to PS10, I believe. They've already claimed the copyrights on them.
They're just hedging their bets. I bet it doesn't get that far because when you get to PS10, they'll obviously call it a PSX, but that's what they've nicknamed the original. So, what? How does this work?
They won't go to numerals. They'll just keep it numbers. No, they will, and I don't mind that. I think it makes sense. I don't know what they were thinking at fucking Microsoft. It's never made any sense to me to keep track of anything past like two consoles where Xbox 360, and then it's like, well, what's the next one then? 720? No. That's Xbox One. Sorry, what? Oh, and this is the Xbox One S. Okay.
And the Xbox One X.
X. Okay, yeah. Okay, Xbox One X. Okay.
Just makes it sound really 90s because where they put X in everything because it was so extreme.
Yeah, or putting I in front of everything to make it sound like it's smart. Like iMac. It's like, really? Putting I in front of something makes it like appy.
Well, that's because they're wheezing off Apple's gig, but that just made it seem pretentious to me, so I stay away from anything like that.
Oh, the other one was back in the late 90s where everything was cyber. Do you remember?
Yeah, cyber also was not an acronym. Bollocks, I can't remember the word for it.
Initialization?
No, it was also a term used for cyber sex. So he was cybering.
Maybe that's why it died out.
I'm still waiting for teledildonics to come into their age.
They're out there, mate. You just got to go and buy them.
Fucking expensive.
Well, do you want it or not?
Well, yeah, buy it for me.
I'm not doing that for you.
Well, you don't have to. You just need to buy me something that will do it to me.
Well, again, you've already got stuff that can do it to you, mate. You've got to be nice to her.
Yeah, I'm still working on that.
Oh God, these always fall down those rabbit holes in these podcasts, don't they? Jesus.
Yeah. I'll try and not do anything that you need to cut out this time either.
Oh, I ain't cutting shit out this time. You had your one chance, mate.
It just popped out. I'm sorry.
So, yeah. Well, any other gaming news that's out there in the ether that you want to bring up and share with the masses?
GeForce Now losing all of Activision Blizzard games.
You cut out there a little bit. I didn't hear the first part.
GeForce Now losing all Activision Blizzard games.
Oh, really? That's interesting. What? So they're not going to be able to be used through GeForce Now?
No, apparently, there was a bit of a blunder on GeForce's part, a misunderstanding, one might say, as to what might happen to Activision Stroke Blizzard's games after the beta finished. I think the situation was that Blizzard said the library of games were available to them for the beta, and then they obviously went live and kept those games. So they have now been pulled and will need to renegotiate.
Oh, that seems like a bit stupid. If you want people to play your games, then why would you shut down the avenue?
I don't know, but why do you have a small child shouting in the background?
Oh, other half's watching EastEnders, so just bear with me.
Is the door being closed?
No, I can't close my door. It's going to have to stay.
Oi, Ricky!
Yeah, very much. I think from the sound of it, my other half's actually going deaf as well. It's reflecting up the stairs like perfectly. Anyway, hopefully I'll get rid of it in the post editing, but I doubt very much. Yeah. So why would they shut down this access?
I wondered where that was going when you said you thought you were going to get rid of it.
What, EastEnders? I'd love to.
No, I meant you. I meant your other half.
No, that's not going to happen.
I didn't think so.
But yeah, so what are they going to do now then?
Well, apparently they might return. They're so because they were happy to be part of the beta, so signs are good that they'll try it. And I'm not sure Activision Blizzard are in a position at the moment to launch their own streaming service, for instance. So it would seem to be like a good idea to get it on GeForce Now, or possibly Stadia. No, GeForce Now.
Well, I just think it'd be stupid if they try to like stop people playing their games. They need all the fucking help they can get right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just like the obvious like Warcraft 3 Reforged, which no one wants anyway, Diablo and all those, but you've also got the Call of Duty series as well. So that's the sort of big game Activision brings, and that is very popular still. So it would be good to have it on GeForce Now.
Yeah, I've never understood Activision. They just knobheads. They just don't seem to have any decent kind of view of the bigger picture, if you like.
What I don't get is like World of Warcraft was on there. Why the fuck do you need to use GeForce Now to run World of Warcraft? A calculator can run that.
Well, I don't know. Every time anything to do with Activision Blizzard comes up, I just see endless PR disasters and bad decisions and greed and endangering the industry with their kind of practices. I just never see a decent thing coming from them. I mean, it would be different if you had... I mean, it's getting worn out now, but obviously Blizzard's attempts at games in the past, people love them and have loved them. And then they do something like the Reforged stuff where, Warframe 3... Warcraft 3 turns into a massive, like, how can you fuck up that game that's 17 years old? They just don't have the foresight anymore to do anything that's decent.
Plus, it came after that huge apology from, what's his name? Alan Brack, is it?
He hasn't apologised yet, now, has he?
Well, it was sort of a pseudo apology. No, back at BlizzCon, where they're like, we weren't listening, we didn't act fast enough, blah 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 blah, and they're just doing the same old shit again. So clearly that meant fuck all, which is kind of to be expected from them at this point.
Yep, yep. They just don't seem to have any sense of what they're doing as a like a shop window to the company. They just
Yeah, they need to drop the word Blizzard from their company name because that's just misselling. It's not Blizzard anymore. It's straight up Activision.
well, you can say that, but I don't know. At the end of the day, the decisions Blizzard are making, they're acting as part of the same group. So you know, they either
Well,
need to
no,
get out or just suck up and do the right fucking thing. Can't hide behind Activision anymore.
well, they are owned by Activision. That is the difference.
Well, Bungie got out, so Blizzard's much bigger than Activision.
I don't think Bungie were actually owned by Activision. Weren't they just in some
No,
sort of
they were
distribution?
they were owned, and they basically got themselves out of that deal. I mean, I don't know the legal stance, but for all intents and purposes, they were Activision Blizzard, and they owned Bungie as a studio.
Well, why won't it be Activision Blizzard Bungie or Bungie
No, I
Activision?
don't think they were part of the name. I think it was just Activision Blizzard.
I was trying to make an amusing acronym out of that, but couldn't. Damn
Blizzbung. But that's what I mean, though. I mean, they managed to get out. So, in terms of, they just have to dissolve the partnership. Blizzard have got much more, they've got games that can sustain them without being part of Activision. But Activision, obviously, the ones that procured Blizzard, I presume.
Well, you're
That's
saying
why they come
dissolve.
first.
You're saying dissolve the partnership, but it's not a partnership if someone buys your company.
Yeah, but there's a way to get out by just buying yourself out. You just need the cash. So, it's possible. They just need to all I'm saying is that if Bungie were able to remove themselves, then so should Blizzard, and they don't seem to be wanting to. They want to stay behind, and that's why we can't just say, oh, yeah, but we like Blizzard, we don't like Activision. They're the same fucking thing now.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that point. Yeah, I mean they've introduced like Activision working practices in the Blizzard and all of the shitty things that go along with them. So yeah, as I said, Blizzard don't really exist anymore. I mean, the original founders left, and sort of their working practices changed. They used to like really, really produce games for gamers, and now they just produce games for Activision. So fuck them.
Activision doesn't do anything original or new anymore. I don't think they ever really have, but they don't do anything decent. As a taking chances. It's all about just making the money, and then squeezing fucking money out of people, then sacking those of people. So they have no conscience as a company.
Yeah, I will stick up for them in that respect. Much like EA, they have released very good games in the past, but that was the past. This is now. I
Exactly.
mean,
Yeah.
they did like the Mech Warrior series, which was fantastic. Warriors Mercenaries 4. Oh yeah, that's my jam.
Yeah, they were good in the past, but and that's the problem with most things when they become an industry. You start out with good intentions. You start out thinking you're going to do, great things, be artistic and creative, and support the little guy and everything else. And they go, yeah, but shareholders want us to make money. Let's fuck over these people to make that money. We can weather this storm. Terrible behaviour.
I will to change this subject entirely. I did try something the other weekend, which was a bit interesting. I'm not sure when it came out, so this was probably old hat. But I tried the first episode of Vader on Oculus.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh yes, it's very good. Very
Okay,
good indeed.
maybe I'll try that myself.
Well, it's in episodes. They're not very long, but they're about £7 a piece, I think. I think it's like 30, 40-minute experience, but there is like a practice saber mode, which you could play for pretty much as long as you want.
I bet you've been playing a lot of that.
Practicing my saber. Been doing it since I was a kid, mate.
Swinging your saber about.
Yeah.
Telling your friends.
But it does have some really well sort of used integration of the touch controls, like you climb ladders and stuff by sort of grabbing each rung and pulling yourself up.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. And you've obviously got a lightsaber at one point, and it's
that's how Reach worked, wasn't it?
Reach.
Yeah, mountain climbing game.
Oh, I never tried that.
No, I never tried it myself, but the mechanics were, you literally grabbed onto something and then like moved it towards you.
Yeah, but you can also reflect blaster bolts back at stormtroopers. So
yeah, that kind of stuff will be fantastic. That game experience would be great. I could see myself getting into that.
Yeah, I've only played the first episode so far, but yeah, I enjoyed it a hell of a lot while playing it.
I mean, I enjoyed the spellcasting game.
Oh yeah, I've got that. I can't remember the name of it.
I think it might be called Spellbind or something.
Oh no, I think is it an A word? A word maybe.
God, it's been so long since I've touched it, but yeah, it was like a dueling spellcasting game. That was really good fun.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. I had that. I just think it's still waiting for that killer app. I know Beat Saber's supposed to do it, but that looks like too much effort for me.
Well, yeah, it's basically Guitar Hero but with sabers.
Yeah, but you just, ugh, I don't know. It's even on like Vader. You still have the problem of like you just need to know where it is. So instead of like having a swing and getting any haptic feedback from it, you just end up sort of wiggling your lightsaber in someone's face to hit him like a lot. Just
Yeah.
like
Well, some of the guys from YouTube, they I think they're good friends with the Corridor Digital guys. His name's Brandon. I think he's the guy behind Hover Junkers, and there's another game that he's brought out recently with like realistic guns that you look through scopes at, and you actually have to exchange the magazines and things like that.
well, there's plenty of games like that. They're normally just like shooting at VR Gun Club, I think it's called. That's pretty good. I enjoy that.
Yeah, there's stuff like that out there that they're working on trying to make it decent. That's actually. I mean, even playing that that demo that was on. Oh God, what was it called?
Bullet Train.
Maybe it's the one where you literally like picking up guns and you can two-hand them and shoot people and then pick bullets out the air and throw them back at people and stuff like that. Great fun.
Yeah, that was Bullet Train. That was the sort of tech demo that led to
Robo Recall.
Robo Recall. That was it. Yep.
Yeah, really, really good. Really good.
Too much effort. Too exhausting.
No, I will get myself around to playing Beat Saber, but I just have to just find space to do it in, basically.
Yeah, you're pretty cramped in there. Swinging your arms around is going to be a bad time, I think.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it's VR's good. I really want to get hold of some haptic feedback gloves when they come out. And
I'm waiting for my haptic feedback underwear.
Of course you are. But yeah, no, I think it's going to be interesting. Do you see my video on Outriders?
Yes.
I was watching it alongside Layman Gaming, and the actual kind of reveal, because I just came across it. I saw that they were streaming at the time. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll jump on to a Layman Gaming stream. And they were just basically looking at this gameplay reveal, and it was another one where Square Enix are just lying. It was a half-hour stream, and they only showed, I think, at most 4 minutes of gameplay.
Yeah.
Of actual gameplay.
I watched it. I watched your video. I didn't watch Layman Gamers because Sam irritates me because he doesn't know which way round thumbs go. But yeah, I wasn't really taken by it. It was like, no, next gen, all this. I'm just like,
it really doesn't look it.
It's just meh.
It's meh. And did you see those screens? Like, it's like screaming, I've copied Destiny. I don't know who decided that was a good idea. Like, let's rip off Destiny. That can only go well for us. Come on. Like, you're going to get sued out your ass.
Well, they're not going to get sued. Generic first-person shooty character and with armor is kind of generic. The Destiny guys look kind of generic anyway. They look, if anyone had a good case to sue them, it was BioWare. Because some of the Destiny guys looked exactly like the armor you got in Mass Effect 2 if you owned Dragon Age as well. Because it had like this sort of night sort of visory thing on it, and a lot of them look like that.
Fair point. But I just think they're being silly by trying to copy it like that. Silly.
Speaking of, well, we weren't speaking of updates, but I'm going to speak about an update now, so we will. No Man's Sky, still getting new content, still getting new features. They are pushing it, and they're doing a good job. And apparently, although I haven't tried it yet, the newest one has organic ships.
Yeah, I saw something on Reddit about that. I never actually read into it.
Which
But
apparently you can grow from a seed or something.
yeah, I mean, it's the way that games, evolve over time.
Stop. You sound like you're working from EA.
No, it's not surprise mechanics. But no, I think
I'm an Anthem.
the thing is with games like No Man's Sky is that had it launched the way that they were billing it, it would be like one of the favourite games for most people today, probably, just because of the sheer scope of it. But what they've managed to do is to turn it around into a game that's worthy of your time, and they're producing enough content quickly enough that people are enjoying those monstrous updates.
I mean, let's give them credit where credit is due. They did realize their original vision eventually. It just wasn't anything like it when it first came out.
Yeah, but it's the same scenario that you get with games like Warframe. Warframe would be dead had it not continued to push out content as quickly as it did in those first few years, anyway.
I thought their spaceship thing was bugged.
Well, the new releases are, yeah. I mean, they're constantly sending out the hot fixes, but in terms of releasing bits, of stuff to do in the game, that's something that they've always prided themselves on, to get that content out quickly, and how often they do those hot fixes. So No Man's Sky following the same thing, I can applaud that because it does work. It keeps you engaged in the game, keeps you wanting to come back to it. So yeah, brilliant, good work, finally. So clearly our skit with Sean Murray did the job.
Yes, we shamed him good.
And he fucking knows it.
And he didn't sue.
He probably hasn't seen it, mate.
I'm definitely going to have to find him on Twitter and send that link to him. Make sure he gets eyes on it,
Yeah, try it. Go for it. See what happens. It could be a video all in itself.
How Sean Murray tried to sue us for £3 billion.
Yeah, well, it would actually come back on me, so don't do that. So I'm party to it.
Oh, fair enough then. Yes. Well,
yeah.
you'd be the one he'd be suing for $3 billion. He'd only sue me for 25 pence, since that's all that I've got.
I just send you to jail instead.
Well, at least I might get a bit more sex.
I don't think you're their type.
Really? Because in the Shawshank Redemption, Haywood said, he loved that big mushy butt.
I don't know where to go from now. That's it. That's done.
There's only one place to go from there. The showers.
And you went there. Okay. Well, I think that's enough for today's podcast. Unless you've got anything burning you want to talk about.
No, I could continue talking about my bum, but no one wants to hear that.
That's what I'm trying to avoid. But yeah, it's been fun. Don't forget, we have videos coming out every Wednesday and Saturday. So check back then for some awesome content.
Or something I've done,
And like and subscribe and all that good stuff.
And if you do happen to subscribe, can you ring the bell? The little bell down below.
Ding-a-ling.
Ding-a-ling, there you go. Because YouTube doesn't like telling people about anything, really. So if you ring the bell, we're with a fighting chance of popping up and interrupting your, I don't know, Spotify session or whatever.
I mean, to be honest, if you got this far, you're a double miracle of actually finding our content and sticking through it. So well done, you. Have a fucking biscuit.
Cheers, Dad.
Yeah, cheers, Lee's dad.
About time you gave him some fucking credit. He's been keeping this channel alive, bitch.
What, does he pay you?
No, he just watches it once and favourites it.
He pays me.
What?
No, that's it for today, though, guys. Check back then for more awesome content, and take care of yourselves.
Okay, love you. Bye-bye.
Now you're stealing my line. But yes. Bye-bye now.